Hey, this is the Bun Mom Life with me, Jessie, and my 4 bunnies, Rue, Linus, Timo, and Kumo. Come and join us for stories about our journey as a bunny family. Let's hop to it. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Bun Mom Life, and welcome back to our little Bun Mom Life cafe. So excited to be here with all of you. We got back from our trip to Austria, which, by the way, was absolutely incredible. Highly recommend. It really ticked off all the boxes for us. It had lots of beautiful nature, the Alps, so many mountains, gorgeous mountains. We did do a few hikes, which was so nice. The valleys are gorgeous, so lush and beautiful. The quaint little towns, and so much amazing vegan food. Bun Mom here only eats plant-based food, so it was so amazing when we went to Vienna and saw that the vegan scene there is thriving. So many options, super delicious. I did not ever feel like I was limited in choices. It was incredible. But of course, regardless of how amazing our travel experiences always are, we are always just as thrilled to be home, to reunite with our bunnies, and to get back into our routines. For today's episode, it is celebrating our 1-year anniversary of this podcast. What a joy it has been, as I've already shared with all of you. And we did open up the floor for any of you to submit your questions to us, and we're just going to jump right in. This is so much fun. So there's no particular order or specific arrangement of these questions. I am just going by random. All right, first question from Bryn L. Cross. Do the bunnies smell really bad? I think this is a common misconception about bunnies, but they do not. They smell amazing. In fact, I love sticking my face right into their fur and just getting a really good inhale, a really good sniff. They smell so good. They smell like sweet bunniness and soft clouds and cozy cotton cuddles. Bunnies are exceptionally clean. They clean themselves meticulously throughout the day. They absolutely hate being dirty. So they're actually not supposed to smell bad. If a bunny does smell bad, it might be an indication of an issue with their diet or their health. So if that's what's happening to your bunny, make sure to take them to a rabbit-savvy vet and get that checked out. Their poops, so their dry poops, those little Cocoa Puffs, they don't smell bad. They're literally just crumbled up hay. And if their litter box is being cleaned regularly, then the urine won't have a chance to stink up the place either. Only their cecotropes are the stinky poops. And those are ingested by the buns, so we rarely ever see or smell them. In the case that you stick your face really close to your bun while they're eating those cecotropes, you might get a whiff of those stinky poops. Definitely has happened to me. Okay, next question from Winnie and Rachel, who we adore and love. Can you tell us about Bundad? This is such a cute question. We love it. Bundad was thrilled to hear that people cared about him. Bundad is really sweet. He's very gentle. He's very kind. We used to always joke and tease that Linus Bear was very similar to Bundad. Bundad can be shy around large groups of people, but around those he's very comfortable with, his really silly, goofy side comes out. He's incredibly hardworking, and he works a lot, but he also plays hard. And he works a lot not because of his full-time job. Yes, he does work very hard at his full-time job, but his extra hours of work go into his side project, which is his YouTube channel. Bundad is a cinematographer and a filmmaker. That is his passion. And it's actually because he already has all this professional camera equipment that me, Bun Mom, I started to use his camera to take photos of the bunnies and thereby started all the beautiful photography of our bunnies on our little Loppy Roo account. Bundad's other passion is soccer. He basically bleeds soccer. He still plays in leagues very regularly. He was born and grew up in Honduras, which is why he has such a love for soccer. And he speaks Spanish. One of his nightly rituals with the Bun Buns is that after he showers, he will sit on the floor in the studio and give them lots of pets and head massages before bed. He's a good bundad. Thanks for asking, Rachel. Okay, from Coco and Heather, what made you start the Bun Mom life? When Linus passed away from a brain tumor, I was swallowed up in grief for a very long time. I couldn't pick up the camera to take photos. I had a very hard time documenting anything, which is one of my regrets now because I actually didn't get to take too many really beautiful professional photos of our little Timo. It was just a really difficult time, and it felt physically impossible for me to pick up that camera. We documented our Tepito Timo in other ways, with our phones, using video, but I do wish we had more of those professionally taken photos of our little Timo. And for months, I could barely even leave the house. I was drowning in heartbreak. For a long time, I couldn't look at photos or videos of Linus without breaking out into gut-wrenching sobs. 1 year later, the grief was still so strong, but the raw edges of it had finally been sanded down a little bit with time. And I remember one day when I felt I could finally take a full breath. The first time I was able to do that. And it was when I thought about how I could honor Linus's life and all the joy and the beautiful memories that he gave us. How his memories could continue to live on through us sharing stories of him. That was when the thought of starting a podcast to honor him and honor the life he gave us, along with Rue and then with Timo, who also brought so much joy to us, that's when it came to mind. And when that idea came to mind, it felt like a very broken part of me started to mend just a little bit. And it was this journey of podcasting this past year that has helped a lot with me processing a lot of the grief, working through a lot of memories. There are still a lot of moments, memories, photos, videos that I cannot touch just yet. I can't revisit those. I can't even think about them for too long. Otherwise, it'll set me into a very, very deep spiral of sadness. So there are still some of those moments and memories that I don't dare to go touch just yet. It's still much too hard. But for all the others, it has been so wonderful to be able to talk about Linus and share about Linus and all of our bunnies. And of course, when Timo passed away and I shared about that experience as I was going through it on this podcast, that helped a lot. For us, every day, every moment, there's still always Linus and Timo in our thoughts, in our hearts, in many of the new memories that we make, in many of the old memories that are triggered through the things in our life. And so having the opportunity to also talk about them and continue sharing about them with all of you, it really helps us feel they're still so near, still so close, still very much a part of our community, not just our own personal lives. From our lovely Marguerite, she wrote in, "Did you know that Linus and Rue made our connection via Instagram? Thank you, Lord." Yes, Marguerite. It's something that I am so grateful for all the time. Marguerite is one of our very, very dear beloved friends and her daughter Sarah, who we've only ever connected with through Instagram. And it has formed into such a beautiful relationship. And they're pretty much as close to us as family would be. We've never actually met them in person, but we feel like we've known them so deeply forever. Marguerite, we love you. Thank you for always supporting us and showing us so much love. It's our greatest blessing that we have you and we have Sarah. Thank you. Okay, from another one of our dear Instagram friends, Little Moody Buns. We adore them. So their question is, what are some of the funniest nicknames you use when calling the buns? Oh, we have so many. And most of them are actually just gibberish. But here we go. I'm going to start saying them. You're going to think it's ridiculous. That's okay. Okay, we got Pookie Dookies, Boo Goo Beaties. Yes, I know it doesn't make any sense. Honey Bunnies, Ruby Ruba, Ruti, Kuma. So instead of Kumo, we'll sometimes just go Kuma, Kumo Tito. For Linus, we used to say Liney. For Timo, we had Baby Shark. These are some of the funny, silly nicknames that we have. They're a little embarrassing, but that was a great question. From Mary and Pippin Buns, who we also adore and love and have connected so deeply with through our podcast and all the lovely emails that they send to us. Sherry, Adam, Mary, Pippin, Tater, Spud, we adore you. Thank you for submitting a question. They asked, if you could tell the bunnies one thing that they would definitely understand, what would you say? This was a hard one because I feel like there's so many things that I wish that they could understand. The first thought that came to my mind was, we love you more than anything. And the other one I thought of was the vets, the medicine, the nail trims, the grooming. Those are all good for you. They'll all make you feel better. Oftentimes, I wish that they understood that, so we didn't feel so bad about taking them to the vets, or if they had to take some medicine, making them eat the medicine if they didn't enjoy it. And yeah, if they only understood that it was for their benefit, then it'd be different. So that is definitely one of the things I would want them to know. This is submitted by an anonymous person. Bundad. What is Papa's favorite soccer team? I think he just wanted me to tell all of you what is his favorite soccer team. It's Real Madrid. That is Bundad's favorite soccer team. If any of you are into soccer, share with us your favorite team. I'm sure Bundad would love to hear it. From Theodore the Lot Bun, what is it like having more than one bunny? I'm thinking of getting one or two more. It is the best. Bonding? Super stressful. But once the bunnies are bonded, it is one of the bestest things in the whole wide world. I had thought that having Rue alone, when we first got her, was already heart-swellingly, heart-meltingly adorable and wonderful and sweet and cute. Well, having Rue with a buddy to do everything with is a million times more. Because they literally do everything together. They eat hay together. They drink water together. That's one of the cutest things is when they both stick their heads into the water bowl at the same time to drink water. They run up and down the stairs together. If they're snuggling downstairs or upstairs and one of them gets up to go up or down, the other will notice immediately and follow. They snuggle together. They nap together, they explore together. That's another really cute thing. Rue is a big explorer and adventurer. Whenever she explores new spaces, you'll see back then Linus and now Kumo will follow. Whether it's on windowsills or to new corners of the spaces, Rue takes the lead and the boys always follow. They're true besties and companions. One of my favorite things to see is when one of them is lying down and napping, and the other may have gone to use the litter box or drink some water or nibble on hay, and they run out, they will go straight to the napping bun and snuggle up right against them. Smoosh themselves as close as possible. And it's super cute to see how much they love that closeness and just snuggling together. And I think one of the biggest things for us having two bunnies versus when it was just Rue is that it brings us a lot of peace. knowing that she always has a bunny companion to be with her. Whether we're sleeping at night or stepping out for errands or out of the house for a much longer period of time during the day, knowing Rue and Kumo have each other to keep each other company brings us a lot of peace. We used to always worry Rue would feel lonely, and then whenever I checked the pet cam and saw her by herself just lying there, I would inevitably feel concerned and worried. Now, it's just so cute when we check the pet cam and see she's snuggling with Kumo. Next question is from the Midland Buns. I heard that taking rabbits to the vet separately or solo can break their bond. Is that true? If so, what is your advice for transporting multiple buns? So I have definitely heard of this happening. Because all the different smells at the vets from other bunnies or other animals can stick to the bunny, and when they come home, those unfamiliar smells can trigger the bunny at home to attack. So this can lead to a fight and then lead to issues with their bond. So for us, yes, we have always taken both bunnies together to the vets for any checkups or appointments. The only time we couldn't do that was when Linus had suddenly fallen ill and he had to be hospitalized overnight. That's when we took Rue home with us. But for all other scenarios and cases, with Rue and Linus and then Rue and Kumo, they always go together. Rue and Timo never went together because they weren't ever bonded. We use a large carrier that can hold both bunnies comfortably. We put some hay in there and then we carry them off to the vets. It's actually better for them to go together because they get to be there for each other and be a source of comfort and familiarity when both of them are really nervous. So even if it's just Kumo who needs to get his dental checked and Rue is fine, we'll still bring Rue along. Or if Rue needs to get something checked and Kumo doesn't, we'll still bring Kumo along. Another lovely, lovely submission from Marguerite, who says, no question, just a note to say how deeply grateful I am about our contact. We love you, Marguerite. Another one from Coco and Heather. We love your question, so thank you. They've asked, what's been the most amazing thing that all 4 buns have shown you both? Wow, this question, so good. Also, so hard to answer because there are so many, so many amazing things. I think what I'll share is what all 4 bunnies have really shown us is just how unique and different each bunny can be. So we have had 4, and each of their personalities, their likes, their dislikes are so different. Whether one is more social or more shy, whether one is more daring or more cautious, they're all so special and unique, and they're all so expressive in their own ways. And how they've shown us how much they feel everything, whether it's joy and delight, excitement, or frustration, anger, fear. And this knowing, this revelation, has impacted our lives in a multitude of ways. It has given us so much more compassion for all animals, and is one of the main reasons why I eat plant-based and no longer eat any animals. I started my journey eating vegan in 2019, so at the start of the pandemic, pretty much. It had started off sort of as a health experiment after I had read a book about how the way we eat really impacts our lives and the quality of our lives. And so I had switched to eating plant-based then. But it was really having bunnies, seeing how they are, and having a revelation of, oh my goodness, all animals are like this. And I remember, seeing the bunnies doing zoomies and binkies and how happy they were. And then seeing a video of a cow that was rescued from a slaughterhouse and seeing grass and field and sun and sky for the first time and witnessing it doing zoomies and binkies and connecting the dots of those animals are just like my bunnies. They feel everything. They feel love and they feel joy and they feel fear and stress. And so that really was when, there's definitely no turning back. It was no longer just about me and my health, but the bunnies have really amplified the compassion I have for animals, all animals. I used to think I loved animals, and I really did love animals, but I didn't understand what that really meant. And now I feel like everything that I am and that I do is more and more aligning to my true values and my true love for animals. And that is one of the greatest gifts that the bunnies have given me. Seeing how the bunnies are is also the reason why we are so careful with all the products we purchase and only buy cruelty-free vegan skincare, creams, cleaning products, makeup, whatever it is, we always now check the label very thoroughly. It's really these four that have opened our eyes and broadened our love and compassion and understanding for all the beauty and wonder of all of creation. So I do think this is one of the most amazing things that the buns have shown us. Okay, our next question, and I am so sorry because I don't have the name written down, so I don't remember who submitted this question. They said, I have had rabbits over the years. All have used the litter box, but not consistently. What do yours use, and are they good with it? I would love some tips. We get a lot of litter training, litter box questions. We have 2 litter boxes set up, one on the main gathering level and one upstairs where our bedroom and our studios are. And all of our bunnies have always actually just been really good with their litter habits. We've only had to train Rue because we got Rue when she was a baby. And she picked it up within 3 days. It was just a matter of starting off in a smaller space with her litter box there, putting her hay in the litter box. And when she eats, she does her business, so she already kind of marks the area where she's going to use the bathroom. And bunnies like to use the same spot whenever they do their business. So typically they establish their area of business pretty quickly. Whenever she made a mess outside of the litter box, we would just wipe it up with paper towel and then clean that area with some vinegar. Then we take the soiled paper towel that has the smell of her urine on it and put it into the litter box. So again, it kind of helps to guide her where she should go. From there, we expanded and kept expanding her space and her area, and she didn't really have accidents other than the first 2 times. For the rest of the boys, we adopted them, and so they came to us as rescues, and their litter habits happened to just be solid right when we got them. I believe it's also because they are all fixed, which does help to solidify those litter training habits. Because if they're not fixed, they do tend to get more territorial, which then causes them to mark their territories more, and that means pooping all over the place, peeing all over the place. Other than that, I can't honestly be a good person to offer advice for litter training just because our bunnies have always been really good with it. And so we haven't had to work through if a bunny was consistently not using their litter box and how to fix that or adjust that or help them. So I'm very sorry, not a good person to ask this question. But if anyone else has any tips for this listener, you've gone through this and you have ways that would help, feel free to send a DM or comment it in our post, and I will be sure to share it. Next question. I again don't have the name for this one. I'm so sorry. These questions were submitted outside of the little question box that I included in those stories. And so I had to do a screen grab of them in order to save them. And I had forgotten to include the account handles in it. So this question is, do both bunnies love kissing you and grooming you or only each other? Only one bunny loves giving us kisses, and that is little Cloud Kumo. He is so generous with his kisses. He will cover my face in kisses. He will kiss my arms. He kisses my legs. He's a big kisser. And when guests come over, he will sometimes give them kisses too. And he's the only one out of our bunnies who does that. When we first brought Linus home, he did give us kisses the first few days. And then, when he was bonded to Rue, all his kisses were reserved for her. As many of you know, Rue was Linus's entire world. Rue and Timo do not give us kisses, unfortunately. but they show their love in other ways. Another question from Winnie and Rachel. How do you find time and energy to run such a fab Instagram account, do a podcast, and also work? Rachel, you are too kind. Everyone, Rachel is phenomenal. She is one of the most supportive, kind, loving people that I've met in this community. And again, so grateful. So grateful for this connection. So in terms of running the Instagram account, doing a podcast, and also working, it definitely helps that I am a voice actor and I freelance, and I have a professional studio set up at home. So I do get to, for the most part, work on my own time. The only cases when I can't is when I do have to go commute downtown in Toronto into a studio there in order to record with the director, with the sound engineers on site. And those are not as often as the projects that I do from home. And my schedule is more flexible than if I were to work a full-time office job, which is what I used to do. That being said, it does mean that when there are lots of projects coming in, as a freelancer, I will tend to say yes to most of them. And that means that I will be more busy, and the podcast will therefore fall behind, as you can tell from these past few months, when a lot of my episodes were released much later than I wanted them to be. I do try to plan and use my time wisely and effectively. If any of you are also freelancers or run your own business, you know that if you're not disciplined, time can really slip away very quickly, very easily. So for me, for myself, what helps me a lot is to plan out my day the evening before. And I will write down my time slots, and it really helps me to, for the most part, stay on top of things. The podcast, unfortunately, will always be the one to take a hit when things get busy, just because it does take so much time to produce an episode. For our Instagram account, taking photos is actually very time-consuming for me. So you may have actually noticed that we haven't had as many new photos as we used to. And one reason is that it slowed down after Linus went to bunny heaven. And another is because now things are much busier post-pandemic. Life is back in motion in many areas. And so, unfortunately, I don't have as much time to sit with a camera and wait for that perfect snap or capture. But videos are much easier. The Instagram account and this podcast are both my passion projects, and they bring me so much joy. So they don't feel like work despite the amount of work that I do have to put into them. And it's the reason I've been able to maintain them, even if things are a little slower. And another reason I have the time and energy is because of you. It's because of people like you, Rachel and Marguerite and Sherry and Little Moody Buns and Coco and Heather and all you wonderful, wonderful people in this community that I have connected with through these platforms and have built such a wonderful relationship with. And I know there are so many of you who follow our Instagram account, who listen to this podcast, and may have never reached out personally. But the fact that you're here, you take the time to listen to our stories, to listen to this podcast, to watch our Instagram stories of our bunnies, all these gestures bring me such warmth and joy. I've said this before, I'll say it again, and I will probably keep saying this. This community feels like one big, giant, global hug. And you've all helped me through so much. Through the joys of when it was just Rue, then when it was Rue and Linus, through the grief of losing Linus, through having Timo and how lovingly and tenderly you all embraced him during such a hard time for us, and then how you were there, showing your love and support and strength once more to us when Timo passed, and then when it was just Rue again, and now with little Cloud in the family. It feels like we're doing all of this with all of you. The bunnies are the core of everything, but all of you are also my huge motivation and joy to do all of this. So thank you all. This podcast would not be possible if we didn't have you. Now, in celebration of the 1 year of this podcast, and as a gratitude to all of you for your support, we do want to send you a card, a thank you card from our little bun family. So if you would want a card from us and you're comfortable with sharing your address, please send us a DM through our Instagram account or send us an email at thebunmomlife@gmail.com, and we would love to send you a thank you card. It might include a cute little photo of our bun buns. What an honor and a pleasure and a joy it has been with all of you. Thank you again. Thank you for listening to this episode. For those of you who sent in your questions, we really hope the answers were satisfactory and that you enjoyed it. And we hope that all of you thought this episode was a fun one. If you enjoyed it, let us know. And if you have any of your own stories to share, you know that we always love to hear them. Have a wonderful day or evening wherever you are. And remember, you are loved and cherished, always. Our buns send you lots of boops. Bye! Hey, we're back. Sort of. Just popping in to say a friendly reminder that we are not licensed professionals here on the Bun Mom Life podcast. Everything that we've shared is just our own personal stories and experiences. So if you have any questions or concerns or need any advice about your bunny, please do consult a professional or an exotic vet. All right, we'll see you next time.